it's something of really tremendous value. And I think something that I get and that companies who have boomerang hires, right, is that you do get an understanding of, well, what is it like out there?
Yeah.
Right? Because I also don't know. And so then to hear your experience,
Yeah.
right? And to hear about like just that the work might have been better and it might have paid more. The culture was not acceptable.
Yeah. And I'm here for most of my days, right? Like I spend the most part at work. So you just want to enjoy the people you work with. You want to be happy when you go to work, when you come home from work too. And I just didn't have that.
PeopleBuilt is bringing a light to the tradespeople in the industry who are often forgotten and consistently taken for granted. Construction industry matters. It's been fascinating now to be able to have the platform to meet the men and women who work in our construction industry. Their concerns matter. Welcome to the PeopleBuilt podcast. Good day and welcome back to the PeopleBuilt podcast. Today I'm really grateful to be joined by Sydney, who I've had a chance to know for 4 years now working at Wiehler, and be able to get to talk about her experience getting into the HVAC side of the trade, but also to hear about her other experiences within the trades as well prior to coming to Wiehler and HVAC in electrical. Sydney, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
So we were just talking a little bit before that your journey into the trades didn't start with HVAC, which I had thought. You actually had a lot of construction experience with your family and your dad.
Yeah.
And then got into some electrical and started your apprenticeship there.
Yeah. What is that? Jack of all trades, master of none. But yeah, my dad builds log houses and timber frames. So him and my mom ran a company. My dad still does a little bit. But yeah, since I was born, like it was picking up nails for 5 cents off the ground. And then it just kind of escalated from there. And that's how I got into my electrical apprenticeship as well. Like I was working with my dad in his yard, and then a guy who's like, I need somebody to drive a shop truck, and that's how I started into my apprenticeship. And yeah, six months driving the truck, and then did residential electrical, and then went up north for about 2 years. And then things just kind of slowed down. Had a kid. It was COVID. There wasn't a whole lot of work. I started cleaning houses in between like my daughter's health issues, and then a buddy actually was working for Wiehler and needed somebody to do HVAC finals, and here I am almost 4 years later still doing finals.
So when you were doing electrical in Calgary,
yeah,
was it new home construction type of electrical?
It was, yeah.
Commercial. Which company was it?
Oh, I started with Odell Electric, Randy Odell, RIP. He was a good buddy of my dad's, and that's how I started, was with Odell Electric. And then I worked for Unitech and Chemco. Chemco was the industrial, so up north.
Yeah.
Whole different lifestyle doing that, but I didn't mind it. It was about 2 years working up north.
Yeah, I have no experience in that.
Yeah.
What was it like working for 2 years up north?
So that was about 20-ish years ago, but like the rotation, like 3 weeks on, 1 week home, or 10 and 4, but like it wasn't bad. Like you just you got used to it, and you got used to working 12, 14-hour days and up at like 5 a.m. to be on the bus for 6, to be on the site for 7. Like it's just the money was good. The experience is good. You got to work with a whole bunch of different people. Like everybody that we worked with from out east, like Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, they were great. Like best people ever. And then, yeah, coming home, you had your 4 days off and just kind of did whatever you needed to do. But back then, like I wasn't in a relationship, like didn't have a family, so it was a lot easier to kind of do that, right? Like now would be a little bit harder, although I think about it from every now and then. Like the money is just so good, right?
Do you remember how much you're making, or how much, like what was the difference between residentially and then going up to up north in Fort Mac?
Because there's like overtime and double time on holidays, and then if you were like, you would get an LOA, like a living out allowance too. So, and then there's nowhere to spend your money, so you're saving your money really good as well, like while you're out up north. So, but yeah, the work's a little bit like everything's a little bit different. Like industrial, like it was a lot of pulling wires, so I had nice big strong forearms from doing that. And then just working in the cold too, like if it we'd shut down at like -49, so you were just like out there busting your ass, freezing your fingers. But just like a good experience all around, like from doing commercial in the city to residential, and then coming here doing HVAC, the residential, like being nice and cozy inside the houses is pretty good, nice and clean, Yeah,
because actually that's a huge difference, because
Yeah.
especially with your role, is like, you're walking into houses now which are like they're at final stage.
Yeah.
You're putting in registers, wiring thermostats,
Yeah.
wiring furnaces, HRVs.
Yeah.
Like they're all basically pre-possession houses.
Yeah.
That's very different from -45 pulling
Yeah.
wire.
Yeah, like and I guess maybe the only other thing is like when it is like 30 degrees here, it's like 10 degrees warmer upstairs in a house.
Just,
but
like,
if that's the worst of my day, I think I'm doing okay.
What's it like being what was it like being a woman in Fort Mac or like up north on that rotation?
There isn't a whole lot of females. Even now, like in the working HVAC, like I see probably more plumbers that are females. Up north, it was like a camp lifestyle, so we called it Clam Castle, but it was just like maybe 2 floors of just all women's. But I know, Clam Castle, right? And the site was Wapasu, and we called it Wapatraz. So we just make like the best out of these situations. But it's still like being a female up north, kind of not really different than being a female down here. Like or working here in Calgary, right? Like there's situations that happen wherever you go, right? It wasn't like I'm very good at like making my work homies, so I just stick with my friends, hang out with my work homies, just want to do my job, right? There's no other reason for being up north and stuck way up north and
Wapatraz.
Wapatraz. But I don't know, like you just kind of like you still like I can be friendly and chatty and like there's no other. Like when I talk to people and say like I'd like to make friends, right, and get to know who I'm working with. Sometimes there'll be situations where being friendly, someone might take it more than that, but like I'm not looking to find dates on site or find dates up north. Like there's a time and place for it, and at work is not it. So sometimes being a female in a situation like that, like I know a couple times working on site here, there's been a couple cases that were uncomfortable, but I can hold my own and like I can say what's appropriate and like what's not appropriate, right? Taking jiu-jitsu helps. Yeah, be safe on site, right? So
and I think that's a portion too I remember, especially being like younger and single and a guy, is like it is challenging to meet people.
Yeah.
Right? Especially when you're working, 10, 12, 14 hours a day. Like, I would be tired. So I'd be tired. And it's like, if there was a woman on the job, I'd go, man, sweet.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Well, and then like wanting to go to the gym and work out, and you're just like in a male dominant environment. And but it's always just kind of been like that. Like I have a lot of work homies from electrical from 20 years ago that I still hang out with, that are some of my best buddies today. But even like the females on site, like I know I chat with like everybody, and like it's nice to make those work friends. But sometimes people do take things a little bit too far, I guess, maybe. But
what I hear too is that a lot of that pressure lands back on you to be in control of the situation.
Yeah.
Right, which is that's not always easy.
No, it's not, and depending the kind of situation that you're put in too, right? But like I just know that I have a job to do, have to go home to my family afterwards, and I just want to work, right? So
I'm happy that you like thanks for talking about that, because it's a completely different side of the industry. then I think most guys would understand.
Yeah.
And I can see the discomfort,
Yeah.
but even just talking about it, let alone being in situations where you're trying to get your job done.
Yeah.
And there's just like uncomfortable conversations or uncomfortable like presence.
Well, okay. So this happened like last summer. I guess I could just talk about it. I was on site, and one of the appliance guys, he just kind of, oh, hey, tattoos. Everybody likes to talk about my tattoos. I get it. Lots to look at. And then he just kind of kept like following me around. And then I was in a mech room, and he came downstairs, and he was like, oh, you look really good in those pants. And I was like, what? And it just was like, it was awkward. And he had kind of cornered me into this, like, there was nowhere for me to get out. And I had literally said like 5 minutes earlier that I was doing stuff with my family. So it was just like an uncomfortable situation to be put in. I may have said an F word a time or two, but I was like, this is not the time or place. And I'm like, I don't appreciate you like cornering me like this. And now get the heck out of here. But then I didn't do anything else about it. And I can't remember if I was talking to Chelsea, our lovely HR gal, which I never really had, even working electrical. I just didn't ever have that support. Like, you're just kind of a female, fend for yourself, right? Like, it's a male dominant environment. All the dudes are going to stick together. And then, so even when this happened, she was like, well, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm like, I took care of it. Like, I haven't seen this guy since, but maybe a couple times, but it's still like seeing that van just makes it awkward knowing that he might come back on site again. And like, there was nothing that I did for him to say stuff like that to me or like ask for my phone number. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, why would he think that was an okay thing to say and like follow me downstairs and to a mech room? Like, you have no business down here. And then Chelsea, she was like, I guess something could have maybe happened afterwards, but I just didn't know, right? Like, it's nice to know now that there is support like that from Wiehler and from Chelsea. But yeah, back then, like, I just didn't, and it was just like, it was shitty. And like, I don't want to go to work and not feel comfortable or safe. And a lot of times too, because I do work a little bit later, because I do like to talk. So I still got to get my jobs done. And then, so sometimes it'll be nighttime, right? Like, it'll be 6-8 o'clock at night. And it does kind of like, I'm okay, but like, you just never know what could happen, right? And listening to murder podcasts don't help. So I make sure all the doors are locked. But if I hear something flapping in the wind, I'm like, oh, who's there? But I'll still like go outside and check. So.
Wow. And I think even for people who are listening, or when you talk about like when you're talking about like the mechanical room,
yeah,
like these rooms are like they might have 4 feet by 3 feet of free space. Like, it's 12 square feet of space. And so when someone with an intimidating presence stands in front of the door, that is like, it's not, you're not in a big room.
No,
that is a very enclosed space. And I can feel the tension when you talk about that. It's heartbreaking, because you want to be able to work in an environment where you feel safe and secure.
Yeah.
And then it also brings in like the working alone. Yeah. Like the working alone perspective, like, and the culture of, like a male dominated, like these are male dominated industries. Yeah. There are not a lot of women on site, really, ever. And then there's also not a lot of people on job sites. Like, do you find that when you're finishing houses, it's either you or somebody else, you and somebody else, or is there?
Yeah, it's usually typically, well, I think now that things are a little bit more busier, there are more people coming in and out. Because before, like a couple of years ago, like I'd usually be the only one in there. So I guess just you guys knowing where I'm working, checking in with my family at home, so they know where I am too. But after like say 5 p.m., everybody kind of leaves, and then it's just a dark row of houses in a construction site. Like,
and in Sydney, just working in one of them.
Yeah, just listening to my podcast or my music.
So like, what do you want? So out of the peers and the coworkers that you're working with, like, what's your ideal goal from, like, how do you want to be treated, by the guys who are on site? right? That you don't know, because it's, I think, for people too to understand that they're generally not coworkers, right? They work for other companies. They might be subcontractors. They might be employees. They might work for builders. But like, you're going to interact with 20, 30 different companies and 60 to 100 different people. What's your hope for these guys who come on, who work adjacent to you?
I just like a friendly work environment. Like, hey, how's it going? Like, because by now, like almost 4 years later, like I do kind of see the same people. So I do get to know kind of everybody, and like everybody's pretty chill and like just smiley, like my little Asian finishing crews. Like, they're just so, like, I love seeing them on site. So just having just a little bit of the work camaraderie, like, I don't know, being able to talk about family or how things are going, but just being treated as another worker, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, and because I think one thing I can really appreciate about you, and you get into like people's like fear response, right? And it's like, there's like flight, like running away, like freeze, so people stop, like fawn, right? And then fight,
yeah,
right? And I think you are confident. You've got your jiu-jitsu background. You've been like experienced in the trades for many, many years. So I think you can understand a little more of the nuance within the construction industry, and then kind of what you need to do to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Then some of my fear goes to, for the people who did not grow up in this for the women who did not grow up in that environment, who may not have that fight mentality.
Yeah.
Right, and who maybe land in that freeze or fawn.
Yeah.
That the potential, like, just the overall discomfort that would that doesn't sound like a fun work environment.
No, and like everybody's just there to do their job, so like let them do their job. Like, it's fine to chit chat here and there, but we all got an end goal, right? Make it home to our families too.
Make it home, get paid.
Yeah.
Right? Was it a big shift going from working by the hour, right, or working like up in Fort Mac, so it's overtime, it's LOA, and then all of a sudden you start with like the HVAC finals. That's all piecework,
yeah.
right? So,
well, because I do like to talk a lot, it's probably more beneficial for Wiehler to have me on piecework. And there's just some things that I do, like, if I don't like how the electricians round their wires, I'll rewire it, which that's not in our job description to do. So hourly would be good for me, but it's not part of my job, right? To rewire mech rooms.
Why do you do that?
Because it looks tidier my way.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like to like hide. It is only a mech room, but it's still, I like to have it to look neat. So I just try and hide the wires and like twist off zip ties, which somebody didn't do there, so I'm bleeding. But my brain like won't allow me to kind of strap up wire without making it look neat and tidied. And I can't stop. So a job that should only take 3.5 hours might take like 5 hours, but that's okay. Like 5-hour day isn't bad.
Well, and I think, like, I hear too that that's the Sydney quality, right? That you have you have a standard, and I think it's the other neat part about the trade, like trades in general in construction, is there is not a universal standard,
right?
Yeah. And a mechanic room finished by Sydney, a mechanic room finished by somebody else, like what the industry standard is and what your standard is are different.
Yeah.
And there's that just strong sense of personal pride.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I definitely got that from my mom, because she was like really particular about things, and she just likes, not saying other ways are the wrong way, but she just really liked things done the right way. And like, obviously, end goal, does your furnace turn on? Does the HRV work? You know what I mean? Like, that's what we want to have happen, but I just like things neat and tidy and.
Well, I'm super passionate about clean neck rooms too.
Yeah.
Like that's one value that I think it's the best thing that like the electrician, the HVAC, like furnace guys, and the plumbers do for a homeowner.
Yeah.
Is that's the only real touch point that a client gets.
Yeah.
With how their home functions, because everything else is buried behind the wall. And when you walk into a mechanic room and everything is level and it's plumb and it's square, right? And there's a place for everything, and the wires
are nice and tight.
Yeah, the wires are nice and tight, right? The zip ties are cut off, right? They're facing the right direction so you don't cut yourself, right? Like there's no drooping. and I think there's two things that I
Pardon me.
that well, there's just one thing that really bugs me is people say, "Oh, it only takes an extra it's only like 30 seconds to make it look nice." It's like it's not true. It is
2 hours.
it's hours of time and care and attention, and then because there's not that universal standard of what is acceptable,
Yeah.
There's that opportunity for people who don't have as high of a standard to make more money because they're faster.
Yeah.
And what a value it does provide when someone just says, "No, I want this to be perfect.
Yeah.
This is someone's home." And I think over the longer term, my hope is that people really do value that, and that my hope as well is that as you have your career, that it is valued, and through the ups and downs of busyness, it's prioritized because the care factor.
Yeah.
I think in a boom time when everything is just busy and where anybody's just happy to have a warm body on a job site.
Yeah.
It's easy to lose sight of that.
For
But when
sure,
things
yeah.
slow down, it's like, no. We come back to quality matters.
Yeah. Quality control. I was QCing. I got my clipboard and I loved it.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
Just going in and just seeing like the jobs, like when everything's been kind of finished and everything coming together. A lot of the time I was QCing my own work, so I hope she did a good job.
Could you find your own mistakes?
Yeah, sometimes like maybe missed strapping or strapping. But just to kind of, yeah, and being able to go to different jobs, because there's some jobs that I don't do finals at. So to go in to see those other houses and like what they look like and like their mech rooms, and yeah, just to kind of not be able to travel around the city a little bit, not just stuck in one area. So it's just kind of nice to do something a little bit different, I guess, too. Yeah.
Well, and you learn too, like being able to, like I would hope that if you're QCing other people's work and you're being exposed to other people's things, you can see different ways of doing things.
Totally.
Either better or worse, but different.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's always good to have like a variety of ways to do things, whatever works for you or doesn't.
What was it like being trained? Like, did you get good training, or did you kind of learn all by yourself?
Well, yes, I was. It was hard to sit and watch somebody work for 8 hours. That was probably the hardest part. Like, definitely a more hands-on person, right? But then again, it was just like going through the motions and getting used to it and kind of learning for myself what worked better. So what the guy that trained me, what he did wasn't necessarily the way that I did things, or his like start here and work like this. Like
what?
Oh, okay. Just, I don't know, like running drain line. I don't know. He would just run his drain line. Like, I like to go around the furnace to kind of hide it a little bit to make it a little bit neater, and he would just run it, which both works, but one's a little bit neater than the other.
One looks professional and intentional, and the other one gets the job done.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I don't like. Finals isn't too difficult of a job.
Nope.
But yeah, we just did things a little bit differently. But Simon, he was a good worker. He was fast, and he paid attention to his job as well. Like, he was really particular about things too. And then training, and then I was on a training people for a bit there. I didn't really have a good run. I think everybody kind of quit after a month. I don't know if it was me, but it was just kind of a joke too. Like, oh, if you wanted somebody gone, send them with Sydney. Oh. Which is funny, because I just spent the last 10 minutes talking about how I enjoy working with people and making friends on site. But yeah, it just like stripping wire or like taping the wire together so it's nice and neat, right? Some people don't do that, right?
Well, and I think like even just going back to it is like the trades are not for everybody. Like the finals are not for everybody. Yeah, it's easy sometimes to personalize when like someone works with you or someone works with me and then they quit. Yeah, and I go, oh, it must be a me problem. And for many years, I used to think that Wiehler had like an amazing retention rate. Like, oh yeah, like we just employ people forever. And then I think I accidentally clicked a button in our software, which shows every person who's ever worked at Wiehler. I'm like, oh, well, that's a lot of people. And it's like I remember almost all of them. It's like, and it's really going back and going, well, you know, it didn't work out for that person to work with you, and they're like, and they either work somewhere else, like they work somewhere else now.
Yeah.
But man, sometimes difficult it is because we do personalize.
Yeah.
Well, that person quit. Well, is it me?
Yeah.
Is that why they quit? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Right. But on the flip side,
Yeah.
I've also, some of the subcontractors are now Wiehler employees. They've got the blue hoodies on, and like, or someone will leave and they'll come back, and the ones that come back are always like the good, like there's been a few plumbers actually that I've seen that have come to join Wiehler, and like they're awesome.
Do you know what I call those people?
What?
Boomerangs.
Boomerangs. Oh.
And they're my favorite people.
Yeah.
Like, because I think there's, I think even going back to the philosophy that, like, you know, Wiehler has good retention, and when people quit, like how personally I do take that at times, and then really coming to terms that that sometimes people do need to leave, and that's okay, and I remember.
The cat came back the very next week. Oh my gosh, yeah, guilty. But it was a job for piecework and like a van and like just a whole bunch of different opportunities. But you know what? The work people were not the same. And like after a day or two, and I was like, nope, I want my Wiehler fam back. And there was Fahad, come back. He was one of my main work homies, and he was just such. Even going back to being a woman in the trade and listening to things that males talk about, like if they were just so vulgar and ignorant, and like I can take a joke, like you know what I mean, but like the stuff that they talked about, I'm like, I don't want to hear this. This was at the other company, yeah. And it just really made me miss like my Wiehler crew here, and like it wasn't like that, like.
Well, and that's saying a lot, right? Because when you talk, like, when you talk about your experience growing up in the trades and being tough and going up to Fort Mac, that is when you go to another place and the humor, even you're going, this is over the top.
Yeah.
And I think for certain people, I'd question. It's like, is it? But if you think it's over the top, I'm like, wow, yeah. I can't imagine what they're saying. That Sydney finds this over the top.
Yeah, like it's just like really vulgar and crude humor, and like. I don't know. Fahad was just such a good guy to work with, and he would never like talk about women or his wife like that. And he was just like a nice, friendly guy to be around. And it just experiencing a different company, which again, like maybe I needed that. Like I think I had been with Wiehler for a year and a half, 2 years maybe. And then I was like, okay, maybe I do need a change. But again, if I had communicated with you, or we might have been transitioning to like through our HVAC side, so some stuff wasn't really the greatest at that time. Like now, and everything has been really awesome, but like just not being able to communicate. We didn't have Chelsea back then either, yep. And I thought I had needed something different, and it turns out that everything was great here. The grass is not greener on the other side.
Well, and I'm happy you mentioned that too, because I think. I remember it viscerally, because like I always liked you,
yeah,
right. And when you decided that you were quitting, and you did it in a really nice way, right, and you were very respectful. You talked about giving like 2 weeks and like finishing on a good note,
yeah.
And I can't imagine the stress, because then I think John and I pulled you, like, you know, went to go meet you in the back of the shop and like just talk about the decision, tried to like understand your reasoning behind it. And I think at some point I'm crying and I'm like, please stay, like, yeah. and what really struck me was. The way you handle yourself through that process, I felt that you absolutely respected like me and the company at the same time, mm-hmm. and chose to leave anyway. And while it's difficult to hear that, right? Because it is personal, right? Yeah. That's why I'm crying.
Yeah.
Right. But then also to see like just the amount of courage that it takes to leave an environment like that, where I understood that you liked it, you respected it, like it wasn't personal for you, and that was really reassuring. And I think I'm interested to hear your perspective on what that felt like to have John and I. Really, I think I felt like we put a ton of pressure on you to stay. Like maybe you didn't feel that way.
A week later,
yeah. And that was the other part too, right? Was like the amount of courage that takes to call and say, "Hey, can I come back?"
Please, kind sir.
Yeah, and I think some people in those shoes, they have too much pride, mm-hmm. right? Or there's fear that, you know, they're going to get made fun of. There's going to be some sort of like reciprocity or like retaliation.
Yeah.
And I think it was really awesome because I remember getting the call from I think it was like, maybe, my memory is I got a call and it was just, hey, Sydney wants to come back. Is that okay? And it's like fuck yes. Yes, bring her back. Because
thank you.
because you're a great culture fit. And I mean, I'm definitely coming to terms with the fact that like some people just need to leave, and that's okay. And if they're a fit, they'll come back, and if they don't, that's okay too.
Yeah. And
to really depersonalize that, like, you're a good person, I feel like I'm a good person, and if we work together, great. And if we don't, you're still a good person. You can care about me. Yeah. And I think it's just been one of my growth challenges to depersonalize that they have to work at Wiehler for me to feel okay.
Yeah.
I do a lot of therapy. I'm almost like a doctor. I've got as much hours in therapy, just not on the wrong side of the couch.
Yeah, do I have to pay you $220 after this session?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Therapy goes for a day, yeah, or for a session,
But no, I think just that it's something of really tremendous value. And I think something that I get, and that companies who have boomerang hires, right, is that you do get an understanding of, well, what is it like out there?
Yeah.
Right? Because I also don't know. And so then to hear your experience, yeah. Right? And to hear about like just that the work might have been better and it might have paid more, the culture was not acceptable.
Yeah. And I'm here for most of my days, right? Like I spend the most part at work. So you just want to enjoy the people you work with. You want to be happy when you go to work, when you come home from work too. And I just didn't have that. And like Wiehler, because even when I started, there was like 40 people. Now we're to be like 150. So just to see the changes too. And like, and I've never worked for 4 years at one company before either. So I think that says a lot in itself as well for me. But it is great. Like everybody's just so friendly, like at work, outside of work. Like I have work homies that I hang with outside of work, which is awesome. Like I love that. The chatter in our group chats, you know what I mean? Like it's nice to be able to have like establish those friendships. Going to the gym, you know, like that was awesome too. Like your dad is amazing. Like I love seeing him when he's at the shop. Like I didn't know anybody else's dad at other companies, you know what I mean? Like and I think part of it too is because I grew up with working like a working family too, you know what I mean? Like it's nice to have that closeness and like just like a more family based operation, I guess, right?
and I see it that way too. I think it's been really neat to see, like, for Wiehler especially, that with family business to me used to mean like, okay, well, it's me and my dad, of course it's family. Okay, my brother joins, of course it's family, right? Like Eric's a girlfriend, and then then wife, like she works for us. Okay, well, that's family, right? Yeah. My wife's sister, she starts working for us. Okay, that's family.
Yeah.
And then to start to see the changes as the company grows, right? That it's like we got brothers who work together, right? We got sisters who work together. We got like other father son daughters, right? Combinations start to the husband and wife who start working together. You start seeing that family connection, and then one thing that I noticed too, and I was talking to somebody last week. And they're like, oh, somebody thought like that Sydney's your cousin or like your sister.
Oh,
right?
really?
and I thought about it. I was like, I can see that, because like for anybody who doesn't know, and there's 150 plus people.
Yeah.
But I'm genuinely excited when I see you.
Yeah.
I don't get to see you all the time, and I'm always appreciative, because like I can run over, give you a hug, kind of talk about what's going on, like in the personal life, at work.
Yeah.
And it does feel like very like cousin sister like.
Yeah.
It's like yeah. If I was an outward observer, I would see that. Is she a Wiehler?
My last name does start with a W, so yeah. Well, I am a Wiehler. I've been a Wiehler for almost 4 years now.
100%. And I think that, and it's the neat part about culture in our executive coaching group. They speak about culture, right? And there's books, and it sits on my shelf. I haven't read it fully, but it's like culture trumps everything. Right? And it is this reinforcement too, that at a certain point in time, the culture is no longer about like me, right? Then the culture takes its own shape, that you hang out with people at work, right? Well, what are the types of conversations that have in that environment? Is it affirming for the company? Is it affirming for you? Is it affirming for the type of work? And the smaller a company is, the more control I think people can have over a culture. And at the size and scope, the culture really becomes like, who are the people? Like, what is Sydney like? And if Sydney is a good person who wants a respectful work environment, who wants to show up and do a good job, not because that's what she has to do, because that's the personal standard, how does that then shape the rest of the company? And I think, and you're a cultural leader within the organization.
Mm-hmm. One of my the acronyms, MILF. Man, I love finals. Like, I need a little bumper sticker for that. So, but I do love my job. I love the people I work with. I love the people that I know on site from the different trades. And then, it's nice to see like everybody from the office, because I don't get to see you all the time. Like, it's great that Wiehler has our company barbecues where you can see people outside of work too. You guys still do the breakfasts every Friday? Like, that's amazing. Also, like, it's nice to have those little extras to spend with your work people, right? Like,
what so Wiehler does a summer barbecue for families, and then does a winter for staff and spouses, and then breakfast weekly. Does that happen frequently enough? Is it enough? Is it too much? Is it not enough?
Oh gosh, no, I think it's probably not that it's too much, but I don't know any other company that would take their employees out for breakfast every Friday and still 4 years later. The barbecues are great.
Why do you like the breakfast, or what value from your perspective, does the breakfast provide?
Just like a nice way to kind of end. I've only been to 3. Just like a nice way to end the week, right? For the employees, and then breakfast is great. Like, who doesn't love breakfast?
Well, I think that's an interesting point, right? Like, so you've been to 3, but you still highlight that's a value, right? And then so what is that? So even then, if it's not about the actual breakfast, what is it? So you see the value in the other staff, then that it's just that it is available, that whether you go or not, it's available.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just really, everybody appreciates that option, right? Like I said, I just don't. The companies that I've worked with before, you didn't have that option to go for a breakfast, let alone once a month or every Friday. Like, that's just so kind and generous of Wiehler to do for us. And it just kind of shows that you guys appreciate our hard work. Everybody's showing up every day, right? And then some people don't even have a Christmas party for their employees either. So the fact that we're able to have a party where we get to see everybody outside of work and get dressed up. I love dressing up, seeing everybody outside of work too, right? It's a fun event, and
Well, the one area where, with the breakfast in particular, where I think that it's my own little way of just trying to better the industry, is just really recognizing that, even when you describe the working environments where it's often alone or it's with strangers, is at the very least, that breakfast provides one time per week for anybody who primarily works in the field, right? To go and just be with people who actually work at Wiehler in this case.
Yeah.
Because their odds of seeing any of these people at other than at breakfast are basically zero. They come and go from the shop at different times. Some of them may never come to the shop. Yeah. It's entirely conceivable that you could work at Wiehler. Actually, there are probably, out of the 150 people who work there, you probably know 13.
Well, no, yeah.
Right?
Well, because I was gonna say going to the breakfast, then you can see who is at Wiehler. We're, for the most part, I think we do have our Wiehler shirts. Yeah. But there's been a couple other plumbers, the final guys that'll come in. I'm oh, are you Wiehler? Are you Wiehler? Who are you? But there are tons of new faces that do come through, right? So just to kind of see who's still hanging around.
So on the money side, what is it like working in a really cyclical industry, where when we were talking off camera before about some weeks are very busy where you're back to back to back, and then all of a sudden it's I have no work for, or about what is it? What kind of pressure does that put on you from like just kind of personal stress, but also like from a financial, and what do you have to do
Oh
to manage
gosh.
that?
Yeah, it's so not having that hourly wage, like it is stressful to know like next week there's only 3 jobs, so that's maybe like $500, which is one bill payment. So it is stressful for sure. But you just gotta manage your money better, Sydney. But there's also gives for other opportunities too. So say next week is slow, then maybe I can go and work with Daryl who does service, or just try something like maybe they need a hand in the shop because it has been getting that one bay organized. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's stuff that I could do at the shop to earn like a little bit of hourly wage. So, but a lot of it too is just doing your monthly financial planning and planning for these things, right? Like it's out of our control. It is what it is. Like we get those lulls after the Christmas break too, because we shut down for a week. I think this year it was like 10 days we didn't go to work. So you just kind of gotta plan for that, right? Put photos on the internet. But yeah, it does, like, you just gotta, and then communicating with my supervisors as well as what else we can do. Like they did give us notice that we are going to be slow, so plan your vacation for next week. You know, but also sometimes having a day or two at home isn't the worst either. Like, yeah, I'm not making money, but I have a family, I have pets, I have an older dog, like she needs attention. The house probably needs the floors mopped and swept. So like I can keep busy. Like it's.
Well, and one thing that I appreciate about you, and we were supposed to do this interview last week, right? But it was a full schedule. Yeah. Right? And you're like, man, I got 2 finals. Like I want to get this done.
Yeah.
And to me, like being really empathetic, like, no, you need to get those done. It's important. And then trying to, structure your life where you just recognize that like this week is busy, so I work. Next week might not be as busy.
Yeah.
So to be able to take it in stride. And I think that's not for everybody. Not everybody can handle. Those are major paycheck variabilities when you go from like, you're getting like, 2 or 3 every day for a week, and all of a sudden 3 in a week.
For a month, yeah.
and then also like your willingness to be able like to want to work in the shop, like to be able to go learn. And that's something that I've noticed not everybody has, like an actual desire to be helpful outside of their direct scope. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's a real testament to your quality of character and your willingness to be a part of a team.
Yeah.
Is that, listen, it's busy, so I'll work. It's not busy, so I won't work.
Yeah.
And I'm also willing to help if you guys need.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is lost on a lot of people, and just that I think those are the stuff that makes you a Wiehler person, right? And then your communication, to be able to speak to the managers like what is coming up, and then to air some of your concerns, which you have not always been like, which you've done a really good job at. When you have concerns, you.
Yeah, communication is key, which I still need to work on a little bit. Yeah. But you know what? It is getting better.
Being able to, how do you, when you're at your worst?
Yeah.
What do you do for communication? Like, how do you handle your frustrations about work or scheduling?
Or
you cry. Yeah.
Right.
In front of people, or like this is
no. In my work van.
Yeah.
No, I am an emotional person, as I'm sure you can tell. But I'll have my highs and I have my lows, which everybody does. But I do communication. So it was a slow time, I don't know, a few months ago or whatever, and I didn't have jobs, and instead of asking what was going on or what else I could do, I just ended up getting really upset at work one day, and it kind of bit me in the butt a little bit. So instead of expressing my concerns in a face-to-face conversation, I kind of flipped out. But moving forward, had a chat with my supervisor, and now things have been a lot better. So it is the communication thing is key. I do, again, I am an emotional person, so if I do get frustrated, which it happens,
yep. I'm an emotional person.
Yeah. I usually call my sister just to kind of chat about things. And again, therapy, listening to podcasts, and then just trying to, just talk about what can be done. Like if there's other things where I could work.
I like what you're saying too, because I think on the employer side, on the manager side, that stress that you feel, like the stress that you feel, it's not busy, you're not getting hours, you're not getting jobs, you're not making money, you have bills to pay. And then on the manager side, and I see this with a lot of our staff who are in that scheduling side, and they're just like, John, I don't know what to do. Like, we don't have work.
Yeah.
And then that same fear that you have, right, about like trying to like talk to somebody about it, is matched by the manager going, like, I don't want to talk about this. and then to try to build that comfort for both people to be able to come together and just like, it's a reality that's beyond our control. And I think for people who are not in that type of working environment where, you know, if people don't buy houses, people don't build houses. If they don't build houses, we don't have work. We don't have rough-ins. We don't have finals. We don't have gas lines. Like, and then for some reason, people either buy houses altogether, or they don't buy houses, and it creates these huge waves. And then to try to navigate that in an environment where your bills are the same every month puts a lot of pressure on you individually, and financial stress is like it's a leading cause of like poor mental health, because if you don't have fucking money, you can't pay your bills.
Keeping your nose above water, for sure. But like I am grateful and thankful. Like my partner, he works, and like he can always kind of help out there too. But like I like to be able to provide on my own too, right? So if I'm not busy, if I'm not making money, like it does create stress. But you know what, it might be slow next week, but we're going to be busy the week after, and like it is kind of this ebb and flow, right? And
can you see the lulls coming based on like?
No.
You can't?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. But I think I did jinx us, because I was talking to the gal at Divine. I'm like, oh, we've been so busy, 2 to 3 jobs a week. Literally the next day, we have no work. I'm like, what? But it just, like, I know over Christmas, because we just take that time off. And even that being said, at first I was like, no, I got to work. And then the next year I'm like, no, I get to have this time off. I get to spend this time with my daughter. So I'm going to enjoy that, right? Instead of stressing about not having the work. We know it's coming. We know that lull's going to come too in the wintertime. And then also if it's like minus 30, nobody's digging foundations, right? Yep. So I know in a few months it's going to be a little bit slower too. So just good financial planning is what it comes down to.
It's good financial planning. And it's this like it's a switch in your brain that and I thought about it years ago. But the saying is that, make hay when the sun shines, and like that's when I grew up with. But then at a certain point in time, I started thinking about, well, mentally, you need to be able to rest when the sun isn't shining. So if you have your 2 or 3 finals a week, it is like nose to the grindstone and work. And then give yourself permission to take time off, because I find with a lot of people, they really stress, because it's that fear that it will always be slow, and it's like, well, I need to work.
Yeah.
And then what that does to your body from a stress level, versus just going, you know what, I'm gonna spend some time with my daughter.
Maybe I'll come to breakfast this
morning. I'm gonna come to breakfast, right? Like, I think just giving yourself permission that you're not working, and then as opposed to looking at earnings, going, is some weeks it is like, it's $500 a day, right? And then other times it's $500 a week, and then be able to average it out from a financial standpoint. And then the on the counseling side, the mental side of like, and when I'm not busy, it's okay.
Yeah. Actually, there was because when I was off for my surgery, that was 3 months at home. But I read this book. It was called The Wintering, and it was about taking like rest and time of need and being okay with it. Not I have to rest, I get to rest. And because and kind of same with work when it's slow, like just soaking up those slower days, because when it's full on, like it is full on. And then sometimes too, Lily's like, Mommy, you leave when it's dark and you get home when it's dark, and like that's tough on her too, right? So she she's a kid. So just understanding like when work's busy, mom has to work, and when it's slow, then we can spend our time together.
What's your favorite things to do with Lily when you have time?
Oh, we go to the dog park with 3 dogs, right? So, and she really loves flying squirrel. Like she's a gymnastics girl, so likes to show off her tricks. And being an almost 11-year-old preteen, likes to go shopping. So yeah, we just try and get outside and like get some fresh air and do dog parks. Yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
What are your, from an industry perspective, what does the industry do really well? You're like, yeah, we need to do more of this. And then the next question is like, what is something that from an industry perspective that you're like, man, if I could like wave my magic wand, like this wouldn't be a thing?
Whoa. Tough one.
It's a tough question. I should have.
Like, do you mean like within Wiehler, or
Yeah, you
just,
can do it
like,
within Wiehler, because that's the company you know well.
Yeah, like
But like make it personal. Like, what's something Wiehler does well, and what's something that if Wiehler could change something, what would they change?
So what I really like about Wiehler is just like being able to have these conversations with my boss buddy, and like just like, everybody's just like so friendly, and like it is a close work environment. Like I've never had that before, so I do really enjoy that. And I like making like my friends at work and outside of work too. And just like to see how far, like how much we've grown from when I started to now, you know what I mean? And like even with that comes with more organization too, and like not having HR 2-3 years ago to having HR now, and like just being a little bit like working as a bigger company too. Like now we have like that good benefits packages, right? The mental health package is amazing too. And just kind of having like those little work perks as well. Like, what is it? 10% off at Mark's. You know what I mean? Like that. 'Cause like you need work stuff. Work stuff isn't cheap, and then like the breakfasts and the stuff we get to do extra. Like it's just nice that you keep it as a family. Like we're employees, but we're still like a work family. There's always going to be need for room for improvement, right? That's why I have these conversations too, like maybe a little bit more organization. But again, like from a final perspective, we have been so busy, so we've just been ordering materials like crazy. Like sometimes we'll go to the shop and the materials aren't there. Taylor, if he hears end caps for me one more time, he's probably going to lose his mind. But you know what I mean? Like, because we are so busy, like just kind of knowing what we need for these jobs.
Because how does organization impact you, or what do you just provide some color for people who don't know?
Okay, so say like my one job, Yorkville, there's usually 1 to 3 toe kicks, so you need end caps and 3x10 deck to build your toe kick boxes, right? They're not all the same size, so you don't know how much material you're going to actually need. But say going to the shop, so I live south, Yorkville south, shop is north, right? So drive to the shop, there's no materials there, then going to the supplier, which is opposite of where Yorkville is. So that's just time. Time is money too, right? So just
because you're being paid a fixed price, right? How much is that final worth roughly?
$150.
Yeah. So you're getting paid $150. You're passing where you need to work. Yeah. Going to the shop. Yeah. It's not ready. You're going somewhere else. That sounds like 2-3 hours of time to you.
Yeah, probably about. Right. And then depending on how busy the supplier is too, and then just keeping things like organized in a material list, which we are pretty good at. Like if there's 1 or 2 boxes left, hey, we only have this much, so they can order it so it's here. And sometimes materials don't come that same day or the next day, but and then just having like, because we're a different shop, everything like was just so nice and organized. Like they had a spot for everything, and like they had like a tool cage too. So they might have had somebody that actually like worked there. So if you needed materials, they would give it to you. So they had their counts. Like if one box went out, then they would put one box on the order. You know what I mean? So it just was a little bit more structured, I guess. But it's nice to kind of be able to go in and take what you need when you need it, instead of having to like sign everything out and just like it's a little bit more steps process to do it that way. But and then right now we have 3 different bays of materials. So you go into one bay, it's not there, so you got to go check this bay, it's not there, oh, now you got to go to the supplier. Like it's just yeah
Yeah,
time is money, it adds up, right? Like
but I think that's one area that I don't know anybody would always recognize too, is that in that piecework type of environment where you're paid per the job, that organization, like, you know, from a company perspective, we're downloading that risk of disorganization onto you.
Yeah.
I'm not proud when I say that, but I think it's helpful for people who are watching just to understand, like, that is what's happening. If the site's not organized, that downloads to you.
Yeah.
If it's not ready when you get there, that downloads
Yeah.
to you. And then you kind of couple that with the financial pressures of, like, if the final's not done, well, like, it's not done. And
Yeah.
who's paying for that? And I think being able to have just to share in the conversation about organization, how it impacts you, you're a stakeholder, like, and you're a primary stakeholder in our organization or disorganization.
mm-hmm.
And then as you're talking, I'm like, man, to what level of involvement are we involving you or any of our other installers in our conversations around organization?
Yeah.
And I know, like, we have things in 3 different bays because we're renovating.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but that being said, I'm like, I'm not, and so have we involved you in that conversation yet about, like, what the new bay is going to look like, or where we're going to put stuff?
Not yet.
Would that be help? Like, is that something we should, like, if you were me, would you do that? Would I talk to you if you were me?
Maybe.
Do you have good ideas?
Like just about keeping that stuff organized, yeah, for sure. Like the racks, like when we had the racks, and like maybe even slow next week if I had a game plan and just kept things, because I think we did try, like we put like labels to where stuff should go, so like that's where we knew things were going. And yeah, like it is being renovated, so that's why we're kind of 3 different ways. But it just it's been a little bit hectic lately.
But I think quite often in business, it's not always easy to seek out like consensus or to get ideas throughout, like, and I don't like these terms, but like the value chain, like throughout the stakeholders, right? Where, like John and I and Mike, like, the division leader, he's deciding where stuff's going to go, right?
Yeah.
And he and I are meeting. And then as you're speaking, I'm like, man, you and your peers, you're in that every day.
Yeah.
Your money relies on this.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be a tremendous asset. And I think it's almost embarrassing to me.
And
where
we're
I'm like,
the ones that are
why
getting the materials.
Yeah. Why are we not having Sydney like draw this up, right? And not in the sense that you get a veto or John gets a veto or I get a veto, but really like a true collaboration,
mm-hmm.
because you are invested in that. And I'm just, like, as you're speaking, I'm like, why have we not talked to Sydney about this? Right? And so anyway, so it's kind of a fun
ordering power.
Well, yeah.
Because we see what comes in and out, right? And like what we're using. Like I know there's in Tradesper app, like it shows like 14 3x10.
Yeah.
So just to do the counts, but like if we have 2 jobs, like a box is only going to last a job,
Yeah.
right? So it's just yeah. We know what materials we need and like how much we need.
I like it. No,
I was shoveling once, and like the guy who like designed the shovel, I'm like, obviously has never shoveled before in his life because this is shit. Like it's just like one of those things, you know what I mean? Like unless you're actually doing the job, you don't really know.
No, that's like, it's great insight, because it's scary to hear. And it's like, hey, what can the industry do better? You're like, you mean like Wiehler? Yes, that's what I mean. Right?
Cut that out.
No, but it's good, because like, and I think that's one thing that I really enjoy about having the opportunity to do this podcast in general.
Yeah.
Like, the insight I get is fantastic. It's unbelievable, and I appreciate your honesty. And once again, it takes courage.
Yeah.
Hey, like, can I tell you what you should do better? Yes, you can. Right? So, any questions for me? Can anything come up, or anything you wanted to ask?
That is a good question, John.
Well, I'll let you sit with that one for a second.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to go back to two things. What makes our culture close-knit? Like, when you talk about, like, because you brought it up a few times, like, why you like Wiehler for you is, like, it's a close-knit culture, it's a team, and it hasn't been like that anywhere else you worked. Like, and you've been here for 4 years, which is new for you as well. Like, why is that? Or what do you see?
It might be also now that I'm a little bit older too, and just like establishing those work relationships. Even though we have a lot of chats, but like it is like you do kind of get to relax a little bit in the chats, right? Like you can send funny memes or say funny stuff, and like it's just nice to kind of be able to relax a little bit when you are talking with your work employees or with your boss or supervisor, right? But it's also the people that you hire. Like you have a big part in this, or my supervisor has a big part, and a lot of it too was recommendations, like, oh, my buddy needs a job or my brother needs a job, right? Like, so it's people that are working here that kind of have a close connection to somebody else. So if you're a good person, that he's going to be a good person or she's going to be a good person too. And I think just starting out smaller, and because I was here when we were smaller, so I've seen, like, I've just gotten to know people over the years. So maybe it is just getting comfortable with everyone over time too, right? And then again, back to the breakfasts or our barbecues that we have, like you just get to know people more, like when you're at work, because like I'm not going to see these plumbers all the time, but a plumber that I met last Christmas, he's one of my best buddies now. Like it's just, you have those interactions with people, you establish a friendship or relationship, and you're just homies, which is nice.
You brought up as well, it's come up a few times, the importance of HR. And that, like, when we started, we didn't have HR,
yeah.
and now we do. What value has that? Like, why is that important to you, or what has it done for you?
Well, just my health, my hip and stuff, right? Like it just having that support there, and maybe just being a female too, and having another female to talk to, and like Chelsea's just been so great at like keeping all of us organized as well, and like what we like the different company work benefits, work perks too, right? And just knowing that, because HR is just like a whole other level as well. Like I was saying about that situation that happened, like I didn't know that I could have gone to talk to her about it to make it better, not even for me, maybe for somebody else down the road too, right? Like having her to talk about that, and then she's so organized as well, like just having a hand like for filling out like medical forms or for your benefits too, like just having a little bit of guidance as well has been great. And then just seeing like the shift in our supervisors, people that we have had work here that aren't here anymore, and like it's just been a neat change. Like for you, like seeing everybody that has come and gone, or that is still here too, right? Like it's just, I think having the experience and being at work for 4 years, like you just see a lot.
Yeah, you definitely, and for people who wouldn't know, like that division for Wiehler, that went from like no employees, no clients in 2020 at the start of 2022 to almost 50 people in 2026, and Sydney being a part of that for basically all four of those years of growth. Yeah, right? And years of growth, that's a good way, right? Like to put it, yeah. And through seeing, right, like I think 3 or 4 different managers in that division, seeing the different ways of organizations that have come through, choosing to leave, choosing to come back. Yeah, like it's a lot of it's a lot of living in 4 years. There was like a little bit that was like a rough go, and I was. I think my mom had just passed away too. Chelsea wasn't here yet, which I think would have been nice if she was. But I was struggling at work with just some of the management. Didn't know who to talk to because I couldn't talk to my supervisor about my supervisor. And then I kept I was going on holidays. I kept trying to hand my gas card in, and Shauna was like, no, keep it. And I was like, no, just take it. And then Scott called and he's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, no. And then I just started to cry, and I was like, it's not okay. And I'm like, I'm not having a good time at work. Like,
there was like training this one guy that I don't know if it was his culture or he just did not like females, but he just would not work with me, and it was just really frustrating. My mom had just passed away, so there was that huge emotional thing too, grief, right? And then not knowing where to go with work stuff, and I just kept trying to hand that gas card. And Scott was like, no, like, let's go have a chat, and then things will be different coming up, and it's been great.
Well, and I think that for people who don't know, because people who are watching wouldn't know who Scott is, but that's actually like that's a divisional manager from like the production plumbing department, who saw that something was wrong and had the courage to reach out to you, and in the same way you had the courage to be honest. Yeah. And I think for anybody who is a leader, really just being able to recognize, I might not know what's wrong, but I know something's wrong, and then taking the risk to just ask, and then for you. and it's not without risk, right? And to be able to endure the tears, nobody wants to cry, but just to be able to let that out, and to recognize that, like for you as you develop in your career, that the impact you have might not be someone in your division, it might not be someone who reports to you, but just because you connect with people, you're an empathetic leader, and you connect. That impact might be somebody else in a different division, but because you know them, you see that they're just off. Yeah. And I talk to a lot of my staff about, like, you need to be psychic. We're not supposed to be psychic. None of us are actually psychic. But, like, it's in the way that someone carries their tools in. It's in the way that somebody walks around the shop. It's in a smile or a non-smile. It's eye contact. There's so many signals that we sometimes get. And then I'm very proud of Scott and Shauna to just recognize that something was wrong with Sydney. Yeah. And I'm grateful that you're here, and I'm grateful that that they took the risk to talk to you about it.
For sure, yeah, me too. And everything's been, going good since, so.
That's wicked, Sydney. Mm-hmm. Well, how's it been? How's the chat been?
Good.
Better or worse, the same?
My palms aren't as sweaty as I thought they would be. Yeah, no, it was nice for sure. I don't know, I was just so worked up in my head, but yeah.
I appreciate your candor and your perspective. I think just hearing about your history, and I didn't know the background with electrical or anything else, which is just fascinating to learn about. And I'm grateful for the work that you put in, and I'm grateful for your perspective. Thanks very much today.
Yeah, thank you. It was great.
Awesome.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks for listening to the People Built podcast with John Wiehler. For more episodes, visit peoplebuilt.ca.